Hello my lovies, welcome back to the channel. I am Rebecca Markelv, and today I want to kind of go back over the whole year that I've gone through, probably whilst I'm also going over this sort of time or period where Tinder is sort of like going off every few seconds. Yes, I'm still single by the way, not that you needed to know. And also while my family are arguing over Mario Party. Yahoo! With 5 people in the house and a 4-player game, I kind of drew the short straw. Or I drew the long straw. But anyway, we're going to call this my year of 2020, one of the best years of everyone's lives.
A short time ago, the World Health Organization declared the outbreak an international public health emergency.
So for those who had been following me on my Instagram, I had been on HRT for probably over about 4 months, September, October, November, no wait, September. Yeah, October, November, December. So yeah, 3 months worth. Okay, so 3.5. We'll go 3.5. And then came January. So at this point at my time, I started getting banged at fitness because I wanted to get fit as much as possible whilst I was transitioning, because I kind of hit this phase where I was not doing any workouts so that I would thin out my body a lot more, so that I'd feel more comfortable with my muscle tone. But without keeping any fitness at all, I was kind of feeling a little less energized, so I started taking it back to my badminton and had the courage to actually go back. So that's why I did that. January was also the time when my hair had finally kind of hit past this point, and I actually got it all cut to like a bob cut, so, or a pixie cut or whatever, because my hair was finally all at that right level to actually start growing out. 1 year later, and I'll just take you with me. 1 year later, and I can now happily make a ponytail, which is like, yes, I have achieved it. Look at me go. So a quick little tip is that if you are growing your hair out because you're going from male to female, something like that, make sure to get it cut, because it will all just kind of start growing like a really weird shape. You need to kind of get it feminized first. I mean, traditionally anyway, because this hair needs to grow long so that it matches up with this hair as well. So otherwise you just end up with this really long mullet rather than natural feminine hair. I also got very sick in January, and when I was sick, I actually brought a mask back from work. So I was cool wearing masks before wearing masks became the cool thing. In January, I also started trying to come up with a game idea. I got together with a friend who happens to be in a gaming community, who does like game coding and all that sort of stuff. Mostly what he did, I think he did like the 3D modeling and stuff like that. And so we were going to try and basically make a game together and with a small team. However, it never kind of came to pass because of other issues that kind of arise, especially with the pandemic as well, that kind of put things on hold and slowed things down to the point where it kind of just sort of like drifted away, which is really sad because I still have this game idea that I would love to get out there, but I just don't think it will ever happen. Also, to take into account as well, I was actually a lesbian at the time, so I was actually into girls and nothing but. This kind of changed over time. By February, I kind of noticed that I had some fat changes that were happening on my face. I couldn't quite point out what was different, but I could look at my face and I was like, something looks different, and I couldn't really pinpoint it. It just, something changed, and yeah, I was starting to notice these little small changes. However, midway through February, there was a point where I kind of hit a little bit of a depression. There was this feeling of impatience, and that's the problem with transition, is that you get into this mindset that you start to see these minute changes, but then things can't go fast enough, and it's really tough. But you'll notice that this will be a pattern throughout the whole year, and it's just the way it goes sometimes. But after about 11 to 12 days later, I kind of got back into the spirit of things and started trying to make a positive change in mindset because I know it's going to take a long time. However, on one of these occasions when I was at my depressed point, I actually did ask myself some questions for future me. So let's have a quick look at this. So I'm just going to look back at this one picture, and under it is the details that not going to bother shush Tinder, not going to bother hashtagging. This is part of my journey. It's a reminder for me. Something has struck me and it's hit me hard. I feel uncomfortable talking about it to my family, and so I just keep to myself at home. I think I know what this is like, basically I probably hit this point of where dysphoria became such an issue that I would talk about it, but because I kept getting these feelings of dysphoria quite frequently, it came to the point where I felt like it just sounded like nagging or whining, and didn't feel like it was worth me expressing how I feel. But yeah, that's basically it. And so I just keep to myself at home. I am hoping I can look back at this and my future self saying it turns out to be better than you think. It does turn out to be better than you think. Don't worry, past Rebecca. Hi, future me. Are you pretty? Was it worth it? Are you confident again? Do you got boobies? Have you got a girlfriend? Notice that I don't say boyfriend. I'm still into girls, and it's amazing how much I've changed. How has the game making gone? Or are you still running that server? Yes, I'm still running that server. Love you, because right now I'm struggling to love me. Don't worry, past Rebecca. You will start to love yourself again. And then you'll start to hate yourself again. And then you'll love yourself again. It will just keep going backwards and forwards. But am I pretty? I'm working on it. I think I'm getting there. But I feel like I still got a long way to go. Was it worth it? Yes, definitely. You will find that you are much more happier than you ever have been. There will also be moments where it's still really difficult and you'll still see your old self in occasion, but there will be moments where you just feel at your most happiest and be so much happier that you actually did it. Are you confident again? Yes. I took voice lessons during this year, and I am much more confident in my talking, as well as starting a YouTube channel, and my Instagram just kind of grown a bit more, because at this point I probably only had about 250 followers or something like that. It wasn't too many, but yeah, so my confidence wasn't great, but I feel my confidence is a lot better than it ever used to be, and I'm on the right track. Do you got boobies? I do. I actually have boobies, so yes, you will get them. Just wait another 8 months. I'm sorry. The hormones you're on isn't actually helping at the moment. The next lot of hormones you get when you see the consultant gives you extra hormones for testosterone blockers, and that kind of helps it out a bit. But the pandemic is about to happen, so you're going to have a delay. And have you got a girlfriend? No, I haven't got a boyfriend either. I'm more into looking out for a boyfriend than a girlfriend now. So be in for a shock there. It's funny as well, because in this month, later in the later parts of the month, I actually started taking lingerie and underwear pictures of myself because I was feeling more confident to, and that was kind of a stage I wanted to get to, is to actually start feeling more confident, to put myself in to feel comfortable in myself, just to wear underwear and bikinis as well. And then came March. March was my very last IPL session. For those who don't know, IPL is basically intense pulsed light. It's basically to remove hair by using very intense light to basically the hair to absorb and basically kill the root. to kill the root. So after this, the pandemic did happen, and basically getting hair removal was put on hold, basically. And yeah, kind of hit a depressing point, really, because that's something that I really wanted to focus on a lot. So kind of annoyed about that. So in March and April time, I basically took more of my time dedicated to recording and making videos for my gaming channel. Let me know if you're ever interested, because I don't really tend to link the two together really that much, because it's so much different. One's Minecraft and other games, so yeah, it's not probably a big interest for some of you. But I own a Minecraft server, and I have a team of other members who are also YouTubers and Twitchers or Twitch streamers, and we basically all collectively got together basically to form a server. And yeah, so we all started recording videos and stuff like that quite a lot, just to kind of get stuff done during the pandemic. Since we had the time, might as well use it, so I wasn't that bored for a good portion of it. I was also streaming quite regularly on Instagram as well, trying to keep more interactive with my followers, and I think this was kind of a point where my followers started to slowly increase as well. So I guess if you put the time in, then it's worth it. Not to mention, like, the whole pandemic thing had kind of made things a bit more difficult, so trying to do other things, like, so we did a lot of gardening, because we moved house, so the garden needs a lot of work, so we've been doing that whilst it was sunny. Also making family fun things, like I actually made the sort of like atmosphere of a Spanish bar, so had the Spanish music like top 40 playing. What else did I do? We had a dartboard set up. I even put like a cushion cover at the door to be like a bar girl. And basically, if anyone wanted a drink, I would go and get it and then open up there, put it out there, playing cards as well outside. And yeah, it just kind of recreated that feeling just that little bit, you know, just wanted to be on holiday. I also made quizzes and stuff like that for the family to enjoy, and we also play party games as well. Not to mention the amount of times that myself and my dad also got 2 guitars out and just played songs just all night. My body shape as well kind of started to change too in April time, and I noticed that my waist was starting to look a little thinner than what it used to. Like my body just sort of like started to kind of like slowly, not much, but it just felt a little different, and I would say I'd had lost an inch. In May time came the point of like everything really starting to really happen for me, and that was when I got my name legally changed and basically started the process of getting my ID sorted, which took far longer than I realized it would take, but I managed to finally get my passport sorted as well. So I am officially recognized as Rebecca in legally now, which is great. So that's something that's sorted out. And I also took up voice lessons, and probably one of the best things I could have done is take voice lessons, because this was the stage of improving my confidence to actually just speak up a lot more, because it was so much better than having to like talk the way I did, which was something like hi, how are you, like somewhere down there. So I would talk like this, and it didn't feel right because yeah, so yeah, I didn't really like talking like this, so I speak very quietly down there and try not to talk too much. But it was the main gist that I would get my voice training and start practicing constantly, as well as try to kind of break the habit of changing down there around my family a lot, and trying to keep it as high as possible. Not as high as possible, but you know what I mean, like trying to keep it in the trained state so that my voice would start to stretch. And eventually something kind of clicked somewhere around July sort of time, I think, maybe even later. But yeah, it took some time and it's still in practice now. Also in May, it came to that point where I just really started missing just dressing up. Like, did anyone else feel that way where you just could dress up for an occasion? Like, there was just no reason to. You just sort of like stuffed around the house or whatever because everyone was furloughed. Like, I just missed dressing up formally or really evening, like, you know, I suppose smart casual or something. You know what I mean? Just going out and being able to do things and dress up, you know. I miss doing that. I also played a lot of chess. Then came June. I have no idea what that was. That was meant to be like a party bird thing, but that was really bad. June was my birthday, and it was pretty much my very first proper birthday as Rebecca. And what better way to spend your birthday as the person that you are for the first time than to spend it indoors, no one to invite during a pandemic. And I know it's affected everyone in every similar way, but you know what I mean, just the whole thing of it just is a kick in the teeth, really. Let's be honest, like, it's just been crap for everyone. But in July, I actually started trying to tie my hair back, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it looked, I didn't like the way my face looked, and so I stopped wearing my hair into a ponytail because it didn't look right for me for a bit. As you can see, I kind of like to wear it quite frequently now, but yeah, at the time, no, I didn't like it. But July was also the time where I got to wear my bikini in public for the first time. Woo! Okay, it wasn't like there was thousands of people on the beach or something like that. It was more like there's about 100 people near a river that I went in, and I didn't even go like full on body deep or anything because it was a river, mostly rock pooly, and I wasn't confident enough to kind of go all the way up to the deeper ends where everyone else was, but I still did it. It's just not the way I kind of envisioned wearing my bikini for the first time. And I was also buying a lot of clothes. Like, lots of clothes. But came August, and I was finally able to have an appointment with the hormone consultant, which led to me basically starting testosterone blockers and progesterone to encourage more growth, which is when, old Rebecca, I started developing an upper area. Babes. It was also the time where I started to consider asking if I should start a YouTube channel, which is how we're here today. Yeah, so at the end of it, I actually started out my channel. So there you go. But it also was the same month where it led to more face dysphoria, depression because of the dysphoria, which ultimately led to starting an OnlyFans, really. I mean, I do have one, but shh. A GoFundMe. That's what I was meant to say, a GoFundMe. And that GoFundMe basically is towards surgeries to basically get face surgery, breast augmentation, and potentially also vaginoplasty if we get to that point. But yeah, it's a very long way. But you know, you never know what would happen. But if you're ever interested, the link is down below, but there is no obligation to do so. But every little help matters. But yeah, like I said, there is no obligation. But then comes September. Something has happened. Something in my mind has changed. I decided to go on Tinder and start trying to date boys. What? Girl, no! I know. Like, what was the chances, right? So yeah, I wanted to start dating boys. It's also the kind of the time as well though, I wanted to kind of improve on my voice with singing and my emotions. Like, at the moment, I'm still kind of mindful of it, but I can't scream and stuff like that. Sneezing is another thing, like coughing, getting excited and stuff. I can't quite... Tinder? No. I can't quite get these feet. I can't quite like scream or anything like that, and it kind of bothers me. Stuff like, if I was to like go down a roller coaster or something, I can't now like a that wasn't actually that bad, to be fair. But it's not like I'm like letting it. It's like I have to control it. Otherwise, if I actually try and scream, it doesn't sound right to me. It just sounds like my old voice going high. But September was kind of one of the more turning points for me as well. Like, I hit 50 subscribers on this channel for a start, so thank you very much to those first 50 who followed me. If you're still here, thank you very much for sticking around. I appreciate it a lot. But I was also starting to lose sight of the masculine traits of my face and features. I can still see them, don't get me wrong, like I can still see the occasional things, especially with this, which you can clearly probably see, but no, I can't see it. I can't unsee it. But in September was a point for me where I was starting to start to see more female traits in myself, which was really nice. It was really good to see that. Also, unfortunately, it was the same month that my disability kind of developed. I now basically have a bad leg where I basically fall over a lot of the time because my left leg likes to give up on its own, just at random intervals, and I don't know why. So I was off work from this point onwards because, yeah, I was pretty much a liability and too dangerous to be working around other people in the environment I was in. I am back to work now, thankfully, but I am still falling over. But I am trying to work on my limitations at the moment, but that's almost like upsetting in a way that I can't work the way that I used to, and that's really hard sometimes. Like, I can't go on a ladder because if I fall, then it's game over. It's just, yeah, I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, but yeah, we still haven't worked out what it is. But I did go blonder, and I love it. Like, I love my blonde hair. I love it so much. Like, I don't think I ever want to go back. But comes October, and this is the point where I start tying my hair back. I also get my first date, like, organised. I organise my first date, and they don't show up. Somebody stood me up and didn't, basically set me up on a date that they weren't even going to turn up to, so... But also October was the very start of my first electrolysis session, and did this area, then of course did this area, and then went all the way around again, and then started working my way inside, and I have a lot less hair than I did. Even though it doesn't look like it, there is a lot less hair, but it's a work in progress. It just takes quite a while because you are doing one hair at a time with about a third to 2/3 of a chance. But boobies happened in October. Oh god, I'm never gonna live that one down. But bought more clothes and also went out for the very first time properly with a friend in the evening to have a drink, and I wish I could do it again. Unfortunately, we still can't go out. And I also lost about 2 inches on my waist from my original one. I am about 29-inch waist now. I used to be a 31. I'm so glad I'm not playing this Mario Party game. In November, still continuing with my electrolysis, and my mole frickin' disappeared for a good portion of that time. But now it's a lot more faint than what it used to be. This used to be a really, really dark mole, and it's pretty much a very faint one. And there's still occasional hairs. I think there's probably 2 or 3 hairs out of probably about 50 or whatever that was growing there. But yeah, so after a bit more treatment there, I'm probably going to have a less of a mole than what I used to. But in November, I did go back to work finally, and I also developed more contentment in myself. I was starting to be able to look at myself and feel just relief and contentment. Just looking in the mirror and just seeing Rebecca. There was more Rebecca than my old self. And that was a really amazing feeling. It still is an amazing feeling. Don't get me wrong, I still do see occasionally my old self, but I see so much of Rebecca now that I actually feel like myself. But I still want to sort a lot out still. Don't get me wrong. But because I had recent electrolysis all the way around my face, my skin was clear for a brief period of time. And I felt comfortable with no makeup for the first time in my life as Rebecca. And I really can't wait to be at the end goal with my electrolysis to see that I will never have to shave, never have to hide this ever again. I look forward to that day. Also, November was a time where I organised a different date with another guy. This time they did show up, but they didn't want to do much because they had already eaten, and I was feeling like just a second thought, because they were just going to turn up straight after work in their oily clothes and just see me, and I really didn't feel great about that. And I insisted that they turn up a little later, sort themselves out, and then see me. But they had no plan to even do anything apart from literally just walk about 15 minutes along the beach and then just sit in a car and not really do anything. But I gave them a chance, and we organised a second date, and we talked for weeks over messaging and on phone and stuff, just to kind of keep the tension growing so that we'd look forward to it. Second date. Just because we're talking about dating doesn't mean you have to start getting my attention. Second date comes, and I sit in the car at the location that we're going to meet. I waited 1 hour and 30 minutes for them. I got stood up again. But now we hit the last month, December, and not much can really be said for this month other than work and just build up to Christmas, the feeling of Christmas, and just feeling some sort of positive energies, which was really nice. I've enjoyed it. But here we are at this point. I also organised a date with another guy. He organised the date on the 27th, and
can you guess what happened? Is it 1, he's shown up? Is it 2, he stood you up? Or is it 3? There is no 3.
He stood me up. So, yeah, I kind of hit this point where I'm just a little fed up with it. But this was also like one of my proper Christmases as Rebecca. My last Christmas was relatively okay, but one of my family members was in hospital, which kind of just put a lot of tension and stress on Christmas, and so it never really happened last year. Otherwise that would have been. But this year was my proper Christmas as Rebecca as well, and still had the pandemic COVID twist to go with it. So yeah, but yeah, that's about it really with this whole is that it's been working on my facial hair and my voice the most, and starting to notice and feel comfortable in myself and notice bodily changes, which I feel so much happier about. But it's been nice to kind of reflect back on my year. It's really good that I did use Instagram as a diary, as a photo diary, to kind of refer and look back to, because there's so much that I look back and forgotten about, and it's so nice to kind of be able to see how much progress I have made. Anyway, I think I'm going to end this episode off here. So if you have anything that you'd like to share about this year, and anything that you felt happy about or would like a story to share, then do comment below, because I would be interested in seeing what you've learned or what you've developed or progressed with, or anything like that. Maybe influences or inspirations. Just comment down below and I'll read it. But yeah, I've been Rebecca Markelv, and I hope you have a wonderful new year. Take care of yourself.